In the early 80s there was a bit of a fad for executive toys, perhaps the most common of these being the Newton's Cradle. Well, the item I'm showing you today sort of falls somewhere between the toy and gadget category. It's the rather unusual Seiko Executive Talking Egg. Now, I don't remember this from the time. It's a rather bizarre item. It's a big gold plastic egg. Now, the idea behind this is that it's a voice recorder. You can record up to 20 seconds worth of audio on it, and then to play it back you have to pull out a cord on the side of it, just like you would with a child's toy, and the audio is supposed to play back through the speaker in the base, although on this one it doesn't, because at the moment it's not functioning properly. There's just the odd crackle coming out of it. It also needs a 9-volt battery in the top as well as that cord to operate it. So let's take the whole thing apart, try and figure out why it's not working and also get it working. Now, I tried to do my usual research and find out when this thing came out and how much it cost at the time, but I've pretty much drawn a blank. It doesn't feel very well put together. It does feel like a toy. One thing I will say, if any of these numbers on here are the year of manufacture, it's most likely to be the one in the middle, 81, rather than the 86 at the end. The reason being, well, I'll show you once we get inside this box here that is whirring away but not doing much else. So prise that open. And there we go, that's the insides of it. Obviously that's not supposed to be like that. But yes, it's a magnetic disc. It's not using any kind of digital recording technology. It's using a good old-fashioned magnetic disc. It's a miniaturized version of the technology that could be seen in dictation machines from, say, the 1960s. I've got one that I'll show you in a future video. But anyway, this is a little bit like the inside of a cassette. You've got a sort of sponge type thing on there which is supposed to push down against that magnetic disc, and underneath there the thing it's pushing it against is a tape head. So effectively it's just working like a tape machine. When you pull your cord out, the disc rotates and the tape head moves from the centre of the disc to the outside. So we'll just reassemble it in the order it's supposed to be, and we'll also have a look at the electronics in the other side.
Yeah, I think you'll find you need to replace the caps in that.
Rather than following that invaluable advice, I just sprayed it all with some contact cleaner and worked all the connections multiple times, and eventually I started to be able to hear my voice back on the speaker. So clearly it took a few more goes than that before I got this thing operating in a manner that I'm happy to demonstrate it to you. I still don't think I've got it working perfectly, but I'll show it to you now anyway. So to record a message on this, you pull out that cord, and then to get it into record mode, you hold the button in. So it's recording now, and therefore you need to speak into it, but you actually speak into the base of it, which would be the speaker. The speaker is operating as a microphone when it's recording, so it's never going to be particularly good quality anyway. Right, I'll put it all back together and then we can hear back the recording that I made on it. When I was reassembling this, I was thinking it doesn't feel very much like a Seiko device. I always thought they were a little bit more upmarket than this. The sort of cheap plasticky nature of this definitely feels more like some sort of novelty from a no-name company than a manufacturer like Seiko. But anyway, we'll put it all back in, and the idea being your executive would have this on their desk. So they'd record a message on it, and of course they'd have their secretary or whatever come in. Now, the secretary would know there was a message on it because they were eagle-eyed and spotted that you'd turn the top of it round so the arrow was pointing at the cord, which is basically saying, hey you, there's a message here, pull the cord out and have a listen.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Jones. I'm glad you've got the message. I'd like you to take a parcel for me down to the post office. I'm afraid I can't do it myself because I'm out at the moment trying this new thing called sushi or something. I'll report back on it later. Anyway, I've left 50 pence worth of stamps on the desk. That should be more than enough to get it to Australia. It's a filofax that someone left in the office. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye.
So there you go, that's the executive talking egg. Now, I mentioned earlier on in the video that I think this kind of analog recording mechanism would have died out by 86, and the reason I mentioned that is because this was made, of course, by Seiko, who released the first recording wristwatch in 1983, and of course that recorded the audio digitally. Now that watch is actually more famous for being worn by the Ghostbusters. But back to the thing that came first, which is of course the egg. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Shorter video than usual, but I thought it was an unusual device that you might find interesting. Anyway, that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.
Hey up, what's that you're playing with?
It's an app on my phone that I'm using to control the new smart thermostat that I bought at the Blue Monday sales.
So what does that do then?
Well, you know how everyone is talking about smart home devices nowadays?
You mean the massive unsecured Internet of Things botnet that's used to perform DDoS attacks? Sorry, I meant to say yes, just to carry on the narrative.
Well, with my new smart thermostat, I can control the heating in the house, wherever I am in the world.
But why would you want to adjust the heating if you're not in the house?
Well, yeah, you might. No, if you were. Yeah, that's.
Well, that's nothing. I can flush the toilet back at my house with this smartwatch. Hey, smartwatch, flush the toilet.
Does that really work?
We'll never know. Anyway, turn the heating up. It's freezing in here.
Yeah, you'll have to wait a second. It's performing a firmware update.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Now there's an app update.
Flipping heck.
And now it's asking for my password.
Is it Gullible Idiot?
No, that's not it. I think I've got it written down somewhere.
Sod this for a game of soldiers. I'm off home to get warm.
Yeah, I think this is going to take a while. Is it okay if I come round?
No problem. Let me just put the kettle on. Hello, smartwatch. Put the kettle on.
Activating emergency fire sprinkler system. House contents destroyed.